Welcome to the Invite Health podcast, where our degreed healthcare professionals are excited to offer you the most important health and wellness information you need to make informed choices about your health. You can learn more about the products discussed in each of these episodes and all that Invite Health has to offer at www.invitehealth.com/podcast. First-time customers can use promo code podcast at checkout for an additional 15% off your first purchase. Let's get started.
Have you ever walked by the Invite Health Whey Protein Isolate and thought, that product's probably not for me. That's for folks who work out, and I don't work out. Well, today I want to talk all about the whey protein isolate and the wonders of whey, because clearly when it comes to muscle mass, yes, whey protein, very, very important, but it goes far beyond that, and that's what I want to delve into today. I am Dr. Amanda Williams, Scientific Director at Invite Health. There are so many things that we need to zero in on when it comes to maintaining our muscle mass as we grow older. It's one of those areas, once again, where you don't want to wait until you are coined as, wow, that person looks really frail. We don't want to get frail. We want to maintain our muscles as we grow older, because it's not just the muscle mass. What is that muscle mass actually doing? How is it actually supporting us? How does it protect us? Well, there is technically a term called sarcopenia, which is general loss of muscle mass that occurs because of just growing older. Now, we know that there are other things that can drive this, including more severe health conditions, which can create frailty or catabolic wasting, as they call it. But this is something that we don't want to have happen, because when we start to kind of waste away, when that muscle mass is starting to diminish, this can lead to significant problems in terms of your immune function, brain function, so cognitive decline you will also see. But if you were losing that muscle mass, that means we're weakening the underlying skeleton. So we are more prone to even a fracture. So maybe you step off the side of the sidewalk funny, and next thing you know, you break your ankle. We don't want these things to happen. So what can we be doing? Well, we know that we can always look at maintaining the structure and function of the muscles. And how do we do that? We achieve that with the utilization of amino acids. What are amino acids? They are the building block to our proteins. So the whey protein isolate is something that I definitely think would be incredibly advantageous to have on board. I mentioned in the first segment, oftentimes when we think about whey protein or, taking in a protein powder, most people think about, someone who's in their 20s or 30s and they're hitting the gym 4 or 5 days out of the week and they're looking to, bulk up. But this isn't just for those individuals. We can't look at protein powders anymore as just for those who are going and working out and trying to increase the size of their muscles. We have to recognize that those proteins are maintaining our muscles as we grow older. And if we are not having adequate exposure to those very essential and very important amino acids coming from the diet, and we aren't replenishing this in any way, shape, or form, we are going to be more prone to sarcopenia, or the age-related muscle mass loss. So we know that we can start to incorporate in the Invite Health Whey Protein Isolate. We have an excellent formulation, incredibly clean. I cannot say enough about the differences when it comes to whey proteins. I was just at a trade show this week. There was different vendors there, and this is one of the areas where, unfortunately, about a decade ago, the market was kind of overcome by really junky whey proteins. And pretty much every company was trying to, get into the whey protein arena, and they were finding the cheapest, lowest quality sourced proteins. And this is a problem because most of it was coming from China. And, not that I'm knocking everything that comes from China, but this is a concern when it comes to the supplements that you are taking. So we take a lot of pride in our whey protein isolate and the source that we're using it from, coming from New Zealand, where we know that there has never been any type of exposure to mad cow disease, for example. The amino acid spectrum within our whey protein isolate, incredibly comprehensive. And this makes a difference to you, not only when it comes to the muscle mass, but for overall support as our muscles are growing older. And I'm going to talk about the science on this. Ours is incredibly clean. It's interesting, many years ago, there was some protein powders that were tested out, and they were finding that they, had the amino acid blend in it, but when they zeroed in, they're like, this doesn't seem normal. And this was proteins that were coming from China, and it was actually contained different ashes in it, which is horrible. And so luckily, they stepped in and they were able to block a lot of that junky protein from coming into this country and being used in supplements. But this is why using a high quality formulation from a trusted source, and this is what we pride ourselves in. We've been doing this for over 20 years. We know what we are doing. Unfortunately, there are so many different options out there available to consumers, and you always have to look. I always say, when it comes to your dietary supplementation, think about who is making that. Is this made by a major corporate conglomerate? Because at the end of the day, what is their end goal? And I've talked about this before. So many of the, primary multivitamins and whey proteins out there are not made by supplement company. They're made by pharmaceutical companies or these other conglomerates that also make household cleaning supplies. Invite Health has been around for over 20 years, and we have established ourselves in this industry as being the leader in scientific and research-based nutraceuticals. This is all that we do. We're not into household cleaning supplies. We're not making pharmaceuticals. We are making dietary supplements. So when it comes to the science, when it comes to the research, we are the go-to, and especially when it comes to whey protein. And ours is very, very clean. Ours is a vanilla, natural vanilla. So it's very easy for you to use this in a variety of different ways to incorporate this into your daily routine. And this makes a difference because we have so many different factors that can lead to sarcopenia, or that muscle mass loss, not only aging alone, but we can look at, physical inactivity. We know that the majority of Americans are fairly sedentary. We can look at chronic disease states, including type 2 diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease. All of these different factors can lead to the increased loss of muscle mass. So this is something that we always want to zero in on. So the whey that we offer has this excellent amino acid profile, this rich source of all of these amino acids, which are vital for muscle building, but they go far beyond that. And that's what I want to talk about. Clearly, we can see how the research on whey protein has even advanced to looking at those who have muscle mass loss due to, say, cancer treatments. And in the Cancer Medicine Journal in 2019, they looked at the utilization of whey protein isolate supplementation to improve body composition, muscle strength in individuals who were, in a sense, malnourished because of the advanced cancer treatments to which they were receiving. And they could find that through taking powerful whey protein isolate, this improved all of these different markers, including muscle strength, and helped to also lower toxicity in the body that was brought on because of cancer treatments, which was an incredibly powerful study that they did. And I remember when that one came out, I was like, wow, this once again shows when we think about the power of let food be thy medicine and why it is that those amino acids really do pack such a powerful punch. But let's look beyond that. Let's look at what the average person would be saying. Okay, maybe I should take whey protein isolate from Invite Health. I know it's very clean. I know that they source this from New Zealand, where the whey itself has not been exposed to any harmful agents. There's no pesticides. There are no antibiotics. There are no hormones that are used in this whey. Very, very important. So the British Journal of Nutrition, over a decade ago, looked at the impact of whey protein isolate not only on body composition and muscle mass, but when it came to improvement on cholesterol, insulin. So this is important because if you are a diabetic or a pre-diabetic, we know that insulin resistance is a real deal thing, and that creates a lot of havoc in the body. So they took a group of overweight or actually diagnosed as obese individuals, and they wanted to see the effect that incorporating whey protein isolate would have on improvement, if at all, of any of these different markers. So they had this group of individuals who were all overweight or obese take whey protein isolate for 12 weeks. And then they started to assess them. They started them at baseline. They looked at their levels at 6 weeks into this trial, and then at 12 weeks. They were looking at their serum lipid level, so their total cholesterol. They looked at their fasting insulin. They looked at their fasting glucose levels, and they could see that the group that was taking whey protein isolate throughout the course of this 12-week trial had significant improvement on all of these different markers. Can you imagine that? Just taking the Invite Health whey protein isolate for 12 weeks and you can have an improvement on your cholesterol. You can have an improvement in your hemoglobin A1C, an improvement in your fasting glucose. So this is why we have to recognize that whey protein isolate is far beyond that of what we recognize in our brain of just those who are going to work out. It is doing so much when it comes to maintaining our health. And in the Experimental Gerontology Journal in 2020, they looked at this. They said, well, what if we have individuals who are older, elderly individuals, and we give them whey protein isolate as part of a daily supplement to their diet? Would this do anything to, once again, help to maintain that muscle mass, the muscle strength, and their overall physical performance? And once again, through looking at all of the clinical research done on whey protein isolate in aging individuals, we can see this continual reinforcement that whey protein has this positive contributing effect to improvements in health, from recovery to disease to prevention of cardiovascular and metabolic risks, including type 2 diabetes, even when it came to improvement in liver function. So we can see the science. We understand that the whey protein itself is doing so many things to help in terms with stabilization of nutrient absorption. There was a fabulous study that was done in Australia back in 2017 that showed that those individuals who supplement with whey protein isolate actually improved their B vitamin status in their body, their B12 levels, and their folate. So they took a group of elderly individuals who had subclinical deficiencies in B12, so they had very low levels of vitamin B12. And once they gave them just whey protein isolate, they didn't give them B12 supplementation, they just gave them whey protein isolate. And after 8 weeks, and they retested them, they could see a significant increase in their B12 levels. So we can see the importance of those amino acids and why supplementing with these powerful amino acids can make such a powerful impact on our overall health when it comes to aging. And knowing that you can access this powerful, clean, potent formulation from Invite and start to utilize this as part of your routine every day, even if you're not taking it every day. Maybe you use the whey protein isolate a couple of days out of the week. It's better than not using it at all, because at the end of the day, what's important is maintaining our muscle mass, because it is not just for the strength of the muscles and supporting the underlying skeleton, but for maintaining our overall health in general. Sarcopenia is a major problem. We certainly don't want to create insult to injury by not doing things that we know we can do. We know that we can incorporate in this powerful, clean whey protein isolate into our daily supplementation routine to help with our cholesterol, to help with our blood sugar, to help with our memory, to help stabilize our B vitamin levels as we grow older. So this is why we should always think about, what can I be doing better? And when you're not exactly sure if you're doing the right thing with your dietary supplement routine, then this is when you want to speak with one of our very well-trained nutritionists. We have all of our naturopathic doctors. We have Dr. K, Dr. Claire, Dr. Alyssa. Reach out to one of them. It's a free service, but they can help give you that guidance on making sure that you're doing the right things. Is the whey protein isolate ideal for you? How do you take it? How many scoops per day? At what time during the day would be best for you to have it into your routine? And then, of course, give you some helpful tips as to how you can get creative with how you use the whey protein isolate into different smoothies. Because we can see that when we have these different amino acids, how beneficial this can be, even for stabilizing our mood. Having access to these amino acids that the whey protein isolate that we offer, how this can yield more support for your neurotransmitters. We certainly have seen in the archives of gerontology and geriatrics how when you start to incorporate in these very rich amino acids into a routine, how beneficial this can actually be. Getting all of those branch chain amino acids, not only for the support of the muscles, but for far reaching beyond that. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more insight into the wonders of whey protein isolate, and the next time you are thinking about your overall health, you think of this particular formulation. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the Invite Health podcast. Remember, you can find all of our episodes for free wherever you listen to podcasts, or by visiting invitehealth.com/podcast. Do make sure that you subscribe and you leave us a review. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health, and we will see you next time for another episode of the Invite Health podcast.